One thing I've noticed with participating in fashion trends that I see online is that I can see an item or a trend multiple times and think that every single person is dressing the exact same. And then I go outside and realize that that is not the case. Today we are going to be talking about online versus real life fashion trends. Boots. In person, I usually see these suede tall boots. I think of these as the Thanksgiving boots because I feel like everybody brings them out during Thanksgiving. Christian girl autumn boots, if you know what I'm talking about. I usually don't see these online as much. Usually online, people will be wearing these days either a leather boot in like the same dark brown to black variant with either a pointed toe or a square 90s toe silhouette. Inverse, I don't see those in person as much. Disclaimer, I don't think whether something online or in person means it's good or bad, just something that I have noticed. Okay, so next, jean shorts. In person, I tend to see people wearing shorter jean shorts or cutoffs. Online, longer jorts tend to be trending a lot more. Coats. In person, I see a lot of these faux fur, shearling, shaggy coats. I see these a lot in person actually. I don't own one, but I do think that they look really, really comfortable. And I also believe that a factor that makes a clothing item trend online is accessibility. So something like this you can probably get on Amazon or just any regular store, which is probably why it would be more likely to trend in person. As for the online equivalent, these days, the real fur coat is what's trending. I've seen a bunch online in different prints, either a light color, like a light tan, or in the leopard print, which is really big right now. This makes sense to me because fur coats are expensive. They're not as accessible. You would probably need to search for a while to find one that you like, that is in your price range. And then another type of coat that I was online is the penny lane. So the ones that are just the fur trim instead of being completely fur. These again, you would probably have to look for something that is vintage. Just a regular person who's not chronically online, you're not as likely to just select this. For jeans, I've noticed that in person, people prefer like a lighter wash with some distressing, so a rip in the knee or just rips in general. I noticed that online, a lot of people are going for a darker wash with less distressing. I think something like that would be easier to dress up or dress down. Personally, I prefer jeans with less distressing. Next, we have purses. So I feel like in person, I tend to see people wearing designer bags with a very clear logo. So we have the Chanel bags, those square ones with the chain strap and that flap over, if you know what I'm talking about. Or we'll have those really, really small, tiny bags that don't really fit much. Maybe your phone or like the lip gloss and that's it. And those were actually trending online a few years ago. So I do think when something's trending online, it takes people who aren't online maybe a few years to adopt those trends. So usually I'll see like a logo purse, so something with a very obvious logo. So the Chanel bag or like the Marc Jacobs tote bag. I've seen that one a lot. I'm pretty sure it's just a tote bag that says Marc Jacobs on it. Or I'll also see like an LV Neverfull. I saw those a lot in person, especially when I was going to school. Girls would be using those as like school bags. Same with the Marc Jacobs tote. I feel like now online, people are going for a more slouchy, like boho 2009-esque bag. So they're not going for the small bags or anything that has an obvious designer logo. I think people online tend to stray away from the very in-your-face logos on bags. So next we have the Lululemon Everywhere belt bag. So this is something I see in person a lot, especially where I'm from. I live in the DC metro area, so there's a lot of people who are into that kind of like Lululemon-esque style. I think something like this would be more so trending in person just because, you know, it's easy for anyone to just walk into a Lululemon and just buy the bag. There's not much that like goes into it, but in person, I've noticed that a more utility style belt bag is trending. So think the new Paloma wool like utility bags that have been trending. I've seen those a little bit, and I think they're actually going to be a really big trend for 2024. I've seen a lot of girls in real life. They'll wear these long satin skirts and like maybe like a white t-shirt. So think like sneakers, satin skirt, satin silk midi skirt. I've seen like that fit a lot. I noticed that online now, when I see girls go for a midi skirt, they're gonna go for something with more volume. So think those gerbaude skirts. So you're not gonna see a lot of the just like straight satin skirts. I think what's trending online is trying to create a little bit more texture in your outfit and just a little bit more visual interest. So leather jackets. In person, I see a lot of these leather jackets that are kind of a more boxier silhouette with the flaps that go, or like the collar that like flaps out. So girls will also wear those in like a crop silhouette usually. So I see those a lot in person. Online, I usually see a motorcycle jacket that doesn't have the flaps. That's just very simple and shape hugging. It maybe will have like clasp up top near the neck. Sometimes girls will just wear it clasp at top and then just leave the rest. As far as heels, in person, I usually see a block sandal heel. And then online, what I've noticed trending is a kitten heel that with a pointed toe specifically. I've seen those everywhere, like literally everywhere online, and I don't see those in person as much. And a lot of these for the online, if I do see them in person, I can tell that that person is online. And then lastly, we have claw clips, which is something that I've seen in person a bunch, like a bunch. Usually now in person, I've been seeing less claw clips and more ribbons. So that's a huge difference. Maybe 3-4 years ago, I saw a lot of claw clips online. People online have kind of moved on from that. And obviously what you think is trending in person is going to look different based on where you're located. If you're living in a more fashion forward area, you may see a lot of these online trends in person, like as soon as they come out, as opposed to if you're not living in an area where people are concerned about fashion. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed any of these online versus real life trends. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.